Hello friends, I'm back in the studio today, and as I had promised, we were going to take time to just kind of go through the purchase process so that you would feel confident about what you were doing and have a better understanding of what happens in a real estate contract from the beginning of purchasing a house to an end. And hopefully these videos will help both buyers and sellers. One of the biggest misunderstandings is earnest money. A lot of people think that earnest money is, in fact, an advance money that they don't get back, and that's not what it is. Earnest money is basically because when you bring a contract to a seller and you say, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Seller, here's our offer on the house. We would like you to accept it. We have these contingencies that we need to get through. We need to get through the appraisal and home inspections and different things to make our lender happy. So we need 30 days. Will you take your house off the market while we're getting these contingencies taken care of? And for that reason, we would like to offer you this earnest money down payment. And that's basically what earnest money is. It's part of your down payment. It's an initial upfront expenditure that is actually part of your down payment. It's not extra cost, okay? If you need $10,000 down payment and you put up $2,000 earnest money, then on closing day, you will only need an additional $8,000 because you've put up the $2,000 in advance, okay? This does show that you're earnest. You are offering it to them as a guarantee that you are going to fulfill this contract, all right? As soon as you write the contract, I recommend actually just do this because it'll make your contract solid, and without it, your contract is not solid, all right? When you write the contract and the agent has you sign it and you're getting ready to have that contract presented, then you need to go ahead and write out your earnest money check. Or if you know in advance that you are going to be meeting your agent, get a cashier's check or something like that in advance for the amount of earnest money that you're going to put down, and let that agent take that to the seller and have it to show them that you in fact have put the money down in advance. It can be a personal check, cashier check, not cash though, and typically not credit cards. I suppose somewhere you could do that, but not in this area. A check or cashier's check is best, all right? You can also do it with ETM, I believe is what it's called, electronic transfer, the next day, and that's getting very, very popular. You'll want to talk to your agent about that. We have that through our office, I know, and others can do it as well. Now, earnest money is universally mostly held in a third party, so if you're going to close with a specific title company, you usually put your earnest money with that title company, and then they hold it in escrow until such time when you get to closing, you get your earnest money applied to the purchase price. Like I previously said, it's part of your initial down payment. So I want to talk to you about some things here that may get a little confusing. I hear agents say this from time to time, and I want to make sure you don't make this mistake or this misunderstanding. They'll say, if this contract doesn't work, you get your earnest money back, and that's just not always true, okay? Now, here's what it is. The contract is terms and it's enforceable, so as long as you follow the terms of the contract, you're going to be fine. If for some reason you can't fulfill the contingencies, it's no fault of your own, you followed the contract, yes, you should be able to get your earnest money returned to you. I mean, for instance, if for no fault of your own you lost your job before you could get to closing, your lender's just not going to give you the loan, that paragraph, which we're going to talk later about in another video, will take effect and you get your earnest money back. With that said, if you've done some home inspections and made requests for repairs, if the expenses were outside of what the seller was expecting, they were something to make you happy and probably wouldn't apply to somebody else, the seller can be reimbursed for those. If you've ordered appraisal and it hasn't been prepaid for, that can be paid out of that earnest money. So any cost that you've incurred the seller, or for instance your mortgage company, those can be taken out and the balance would be given back to you, okay? So as long as you're following the contract, you're fine, and you probably get your earnest money back, all right? Now, if you don't follow the contract, if you just walk away from that contract, the money belongs to the seller because you had put it up as earnest, as a guarantee of your desire to buy that contract or buy that house. So you've put it up as earnest or a guarantee to buy their property and that you were going to fulfill the contract. If you don't do that, if you don't follow through, you're not going to get your earnest money back. That's just part of the way it works. I just want to throw in 2 more things that you need to be prepared for. Anytime you buy a house, there is a tiny bit of gamble, a little bit of risk that goes into it. 3 of them are, number 1 would be your earnest money, because you're putting that up as earnest and a guarantee that you're going to fulfill your contract. So it's a little bit of a risk, not much. It usually doesn't ever come down to something negative. The other thing is, if the contract doesn't go through and you've prepaid your appraisal, that money is not refunded back to you. And your home inspection, if you've paid for your home inspection, that money's not paid back to you either. So just up front, those are 3 things that you might want to know about as upfront risk when you're buying a house. So here's the deal. Earnest money is not money wasted. It's part of your down payment. It's a great tool. Let me tell you this, if you got 3 contracts and the sellers are trying to decide which one they want to take, I have seen a lot of times the sellers take the contract with the greater amount of earnest money, the greater guarantee of the fulfillment of the contract, with a lesser price. They've accepted a lesser price because the contract had a stronger earnest deposit. So maybe you can use that trick in your negotiations. You just want to make sure you get through the closing with that, right? Here's what I want you to do. I want you to take this and use it to your advantage. There will be more videos coming. So really right now would be a great time to like and subscribe, and let me allow you to have the knowledge to put yourself in control when you're buying a house, because I'm going to go through the entire process 1 step at a time. So like and subscribe, make comments, ask questions. We love them. We'll get right back to you. And as always, I want you to have a very blessed day.